just in time for grill season, your new favorite steak. This is the Teres Major. Real quick, fun story, kind of urban legend. When I started cooking in the early 2000s, the older chefs had stories about the Teres Major. The price of tenderloin jumped up through the roof in the 90s, and some chefs, at least around the Twin Cities, apparently started serving the Teres Major instead of tenderloin without telling anyone and without lowering the price. So that should tell you something right there. This is a very tender cut of beef, probably one of the top three most tender cuts, along with ribeye and tenderloin. It's also about half the price. A couple things that are important to know: this is a working muscle, so it's going to take much longer to rest. If it's sliced before it's properly rested, there's going to be a ton of juice that comes out. Just like other butcher cuts, like a hanger steak or the bavette, the flavor on this thing is absolutely fantastic. It doesn't have quite the rich flavor or like almost irony livery taste as a hanger steak, but it's still way better tasting than tenderloin. When you get your Teres Major, if you buy them wholesale, they're going to be covered in silver skin. I bought these from a butcher, and only part of the silver skin was removed, and I think that's going to be probably pretty common. So if you see any silver skin, all of it needs to be removed because it's going to make the steaks curl as they cook, and you want them to stay flat. So just inspect them. If you see any silver skin, you're going to need to remove it. And it usually doesn't take much. Just use a sharp little paring knife. The steak also tapers a little bit, so the ends will be a little bit more cooked, and that's fine because you're going to slice it to cook anyway. And what I'm going to do is season them with salt, pepper, and herbs like thyme and rosemary overnight, wrap them in cling film. That's a dry brine. Now I'm going to sear them in my heavy carbon steel pan. You can grill these too. They're fantastic on a grill. But what you're going to see here, besides browning them on all the sides, I'll brown those thinner sides too, is the temperature that I cook these to. And this will take a while. And if you don't have a hood vent like I do, you can pan roast these in the oven. But I'm going to cook these a little bit differently temperature-wise than I would other steaks. So for a medium rare, I'm actually going to go to about 130 degrees, which is technically rare. I'm going to go for a medium here. I don't like these rare, and some mushrooms are always a good complement to steak. But I'm going to go for medium, and medium is going to be about 135 because look, the steak is going to raise 10 degrees as it rests. So these take about twice as long or longer than another cut of meat that you would cook. Typically it's 10 minutes per pound. For an 8-ounce Teres Major, you are going to rest this for about 15 minutes. That's a long time, but it's just necessary because this is a hard-working muscle. Then when you're slicing, you want to make sure that you're cutting against the grain. And sometimes I would see chefs try to get creative and cut them kind of on a bias there or diagonally, which is kind of against the grain, and I don't recommend that. You want to go straight down, cut them on a radical bias, and you'll see the temperature, how this turns out here. This is how I like them. I don't like them rare, they're a little wiggly. I like them like perfectly pink. It's gonna make them extra tender. Cook them up, serve them with your favorite accompaniments, and that's really all you need to know. Thanks for watching, and happy grill season.